Tonight on the Cooligans, we are joined by Romesh Ranganathan.
That's right, and also Gianluca Busio.
Okay, yes.
Marcelo Balboa.
Okay, it's a star-studded affair.
We gotta get a bigger couch.
So all this and more today on the Cooligans.
Yeah, baby!
Yes, making TV.
That's right.
Okay, this show, today's show is just it's absurd.
That's right. I got an English person next to me who is very scared about all the yelling that's happening.
Yeah, no, he's scared of the American excellence.
Yeah, you saw what our political system looks like, right, dog? You know we yelling on TV.
We just had Super Tuesdays, not Super Thursday.
Hell yeah, dog. And we all getting coronavirus.
Okay. All the headlines are making it into this show.
That's in the gift bag, dog. Welcome to America, where we shoot viruses out of the sky. Shouts to our sponsors, Halliburton.
Welcome to the show, everyone. My name is Christian Polanco.
I'm Alexis Guerrero.
Right, we are the Cooligans. We're your favorite stand-up comedians that host the funniest soccer show that you have ever seen in America and on the other side of the pond.
Or UK. Which is what I say to my homie when he gets shot. I say, yo, UK? Get up, dog. We ain't got health insurance.
All right.
Did you expect anything else?
All right. We got it. You got to hit all the notes quick.
With bing, 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 bing.
Right at the top so that there's no jokes left.
You know what I mean? We get it all out of our system, and then we can have a nice conversation.
But please, let's introduce our guest, Alexis.
Absolutely hilarious. It's a superstar. You put this dude's name in Google or YouTube, you got a lot of clips to watch. This guy's been everywhere. He's been all over the Apollo. He's been in America before. No one told us. You know what I mean? But we didn't sign off on that. You got a G-check, my guy. Also hosts a hilarious podcast called Hip Hop Saved My Life, where he interviews amazing hip hop superstars from the past, like DJ Premier, Nas, and Patrice Evra. Everyone knows those
the three pillars of hip hop.
Bars, dog. We talking lyricism. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together unless you're driving for the one, the only Romesh Ranganathan, everybody.
Thanks very much. Thank you. That was, wow. That is a top of the show, isn't it? That was,
show's over, actually.
Yeah. You guys have been so American.
Yeah, dog.
Incredible. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
We're gonna fold our slices.
I'm gonna take that as a compliment.
It's a compliment. I meant it as a compliment.
Good.
So you're welcome, dog. You know
thank
Just
you.
trying to show you what could happen to your language when it's refined.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. Yeah. Really good to hear.
Welcome to the show. I know. So first of all, when Alexis told me that you were doing the show and they were working on getting you on the show, he was like, he's a big Arsenal fan. That was like huge.
Yes.
And Alexis gets excited when he meets Arsenal fans with British accents.
Absolutely.
Right. Why is that?
Yeah, because I like to see how people who don't know how to support their team.
Well, actually, I don't think that's an unfair.
Although I got to be honest, I did go to a game at the Emirates, and I was like, why am I the only one standing up and chanting? It was very quiet, very relaxed atmosphere. But you're not. You come from a lineage of Arsenal fans.
Well,
correct?
my dad. So my dad.
What's that like to have a dad? It's awesome. It sounds cool.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. You can say stuff like my dad did.
Yeah.
It's really nice to keep falling back on it. You know, it's lovely. So So my family originally from Sri Lanka, and then my dad moved to North London to start. You know, he was like finishing his qualifications or whatever, and then just fell in love with Arsenal, and so. That was it then. The whole family have got to be Arsenal fans. Like, he was pretty militant about it. And then he started running a pub just sort of south of London, and he made that pub like an Arsenal pub. You weren't allowed to criticise Arsene Wenger. You weren't allowed to say anything negative about Arsenal.
Okay.
If Arsenal lost, he would kick everyone out of the pub. Like, it was crazy.
So
he was
troops is not welcome in this pub.
Yeah. He was a militant
Really?
Arsenal fan. Yeah.
How knew me and your dad had so much in common? If shit doesn't go the way I want, everybody out.
I know.
Your dad was Martin. Remember Martin Lawrence?
Yeah.
Get the stepping.
Yeah. It was like that though. But it was like, but I'm a massive Arsenal fan. But I had to say to him, Dad, you got to accept that there are negatives about the team, and we just got our asses handed to us. Do you know what I mean? You can't then act like we're beyond criticism, but he just wasn't having it. Man.
I like
he wasn't
this guy.
having it.
I like a good irrational fan.
Yeah,
you know
totally.
what I mean? That's why.
Good. I mean, it's a traditional irrational dad.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean, like that's how you're.
I read about it once. Seems fun.
He had a thing where we went together a lot, and one day he was desperate to get some fried chicken on the way to the game, so he got some fried chicken. And we missed kickoff, and then Arsenal won, and then he became convinced that in order for Arsenal to win, he had to eat fried chicken. Yeah, I mean, he went on to die of a heart attack. Not a massive surprise, but yeah, that was like
that was the win streak they went. The undefeated season.
Yeah, that was two things happened. Yeah. We went undefeated.
Yeah.
He sadly died of a heart attack. But, you take your wins and losses.
But he did it for the club.
Yeah. And actually, as a family, we think it was worth it.
Yeah. When Wenger held up that golden trophy, it's because of your dad.
Yeah. We were watching it in the hospital, and we're like, oh, this is great. It worked out, Dad.
Yeah,
what?
he-
No, he's gone.
He went out with a smile.
Yeah. He
And
was
a thumbs
delighted.
up. God, 3 comedians. We're not going to take anything serious.
No, but I know you have a couple children as well.
Yeah.
Do you bring that militantness and that footballing culture to them as well?
Well, I've got 3 boys, and they're all Arsenal fans.
Okay.
Well
done.
Yeah.
Hey.
Well, there's no choice.
That's what I'm talking about right
They
here.
have to be Arsenal fans. But my oldest son, I feel a bit sorry for him because he's 10 years old, and he's the one that's sort of old enough to be into it and be following it.
But he's had a
like
really rough run the last 10 years.
His whole life has marked a decline in the club.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And so, like, sometimes he actually expresses resentment towards me because I'm saying to him, no, we're a great club. We did this stuff, and he goes, yeah, but I'm not seeing it. Do you know what I mean? I took him to when we beat Chelsea in the FA Cup final. I took him to that game, and he was 8 then, and we were getting the train up to Wembley, and he said to me, we're going to get destroyed, aren't we? And I thought to myself, this is an 8-year-old kid. I'm allowed to talk like this. Do you know what I mean? But you're supposed to have hopes and dreams and stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Nah, man, you raised him an Arsenal fan.
Yeah, exactly. So
He was like, nothing's going to work out. It's probably going to rain.
yeah.
I love that there's the British cynicism is built in. You know,
Yeah.
it's just like it starts nice and early.
Yeah, I mean, you're not allowed to enjoy your day, right?
No, exactly, 100%.
God forbid.
100%. Yeah. That's not what it's about. It's about sort of pushing your dreams and hopes right deep down.
Yeah.
And just sort of waiting to die. That's kind of what the British way of life is. Do you know what I mean?
But what do you do when something good happens?
Don't tell anyone about
You
it.
sort of talk about how short-lived this will probably be, and how it's only going to lead to inevitable disappointment. Things like that.
We got much more for Romesh when we get back. That's right, baby. We're back. Still here with Romesh. Let's talk a little bit about your podcast because it's a podcast about how much you love hip hop, and I can see your De La Soul tattoo.
Yeah.
I'm from Newark. I look at everything.
Right.
I don't trust nobody. But you're obviously a huge hip hop fan, but it's sort of blended, and now you're also talking to sort of some soccer players and stuff on it. Talk a little bit about the podcast and sort of like you're best friends with Patrice Evra.
Well,
So he's not getting fried chicken; he's eating raw chicken.
Yeah. That was it. I mean, he hates that being brought up, by the way. But he basically, it's a very similar story to you guys, I guess. Is that I was still sort of doing stand up and I was doing bits and pieces, and then I just, because I'm such a massive hip hop fan, I thought I really want to do a podcast where I don't really have any aspirations for it. I just want to do something fun, and there's loads of comics that are hip hop fans and like just general people that you wouldn't expect. I think hip hop sort of people get into hip hop that you just wouldn't. It's a surprise when you hear about some of these people.
In the UK, for sure.
In the UK, definitely, yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, here it's a little bit different, so we just started talking to comics and stuff about how hip hop had affected them, and then the podcast just started to grow and grow, and it got to the point where we were getting bigger names on, and then we started getting rappers agreeing to come on, and then we got to the point where footballers. So Jamie Redknapp, who used to play for Liverpool, he was like. He said to me, we used to listen to hip hop all the time. I'm into hip hop, and so I got him on. And it was a thing of people in the UK, because I don't know if you have this with your show, but the people that listen to our podcast, they're such aggressive nerds, right? So if I get something wrong, my Twitter timeline is an absolute car crash, right?
Yeah.
For the
That
next
album
week.
came out in '92.
If you don't even know the lyrics, why'd you bother to have a podcast? You know, it's like stuff like that. It's like, like stuff like that, just constantly. So that when I announced that Jamie Redknapp was coming on, people going, "Oh right, great, yeah, all right. Who are you getting on? Just any of your mates that don't know anything." Like, just really like it was really like we're getting heckled like from before.
Yeah.
But he knows his stuff. Do you know what I mean? He knows his stuff of a certain era,
right?
But he knows his stuff, right? So that was great. And then
what did he listen to? What was he? Is he?
So like he was he loves De La Soul, Big Daddy Kane, people like that.
Really?
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, he's really into that. And he used to try and him and John Barnes used to like try and like dominate the Liverpool dressing room with like hip hop and stuff like that. And then I was doing I do a show over in the UK called League of Their Own, and Patrice Evra was on that show, and we got to know each other. It was really fun actually because like. So we finished filming with Patrice, and he and I were getting a car back to the airport, and he didn't know that I was an Arsenal fan, right? And he goes to me, "So who do you support?" And I said, "Oh, Arsenal." He goes, "Oh my God, Arsenal, they're pathetic. They're pathetic. I used to call them my babies." And he just starts going into this like absolute, just like roast, like absolute destroying.
You can't say shit because he did it.
Yeah. And he's going, I used to say, "Don't worry about it. These guys are shit." When Van Persie came, I said to him, "Welcome, you join a man's team." And he was, like, all of this, right? And I was just sitting there like, "Oh my God," right? So, but it was funny because I mean, I used to hate Patrice Evra as an Arsenal fan.
Yes.
He terrorised. I hated him, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm seeing this guy give me the inside, like the stuff he's telling me about Fergie and like the treatment he used to give the players, like how tight a ship he used to run there. And I was sort of watching Patrice like just destroy Arsenal, right? And the two like producers that were driving us to the airport, they're chuckling away, Liverpool fans, pricks, right? Yeah. And, like, so I was just sort of, So I was just sitting there, and then I thought, well, this is funny. It's been funny listening to Patrice say all this, but there's no way he would say that publicly because he properly rinsed Arsenal, like destroyed Arsenal, right? Then a couple of days later, he's like, I'm watching Arsenal against Sheffield United, right?
Yeah.
And we get turned over, and he goes, so the pundits go to Patrice, so Patrice, what do you think of Arsenal? He goes, let me tell you something. They're my babies. I used to call them my babies. And I'm sitting there going, oh my God, he's saying it on TV. Like, and then I start getting nervous that he's workshopped it in the car to me.
Like
and then because I've been laughing and going along with it, he's now doing it on TV. Then I looked on Twitter, Twitter were just destroying him. Why is Patrice ever talking about Arsenal? Tell him to shut up, he's a prick. Just absolutely. And I thought, oh my God, I have led to, I've encouraged Patrice Evra to talk like this. I felt awful.
It's like watching a comic do crowd work again at another show, and you're like, what?
Hey, I thought that was just for me.
That wasn't just me.
I know.
I love that Patrice Evra brings the same energy everywhere he goes.
Yeah,
you know?
Only if it's an Arsenal fan. I can't wait to meet Patrice Evra because you know I'm gonna bring that smoke. Now that I know you got bits.
But he's sort of, because Arsenal fans have got a bit of a. They've got a bit of a reputation for being a bit spoilt, you know, as a set of football fans, and
invincible this, invincible that.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been big controversy, but exactly because Liverpool got done by Watford, and Arsenal fans on Twitter were just going, "This is great, this is great."
Yeah, this is our parade.
Yeah, but a lot of there's a backlash to that because people are saying, why are you celebrating something that happened ages ago, and why are you making a big deal about this? But the thing is, I just sort of think, I know it's annoying for other fans. I don't care. I do not care.
It's all we have.
Of course I'm going to celebrate Liverpool not going on. Of course I am.
If I smashed the prom queen in high school, guess what you're going to hear about at my 50th birthday?
Yeah, exactly.
Guess what?
What, does it upset you?
Yeah.
Couldn't give a shit, mate.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Did it upset you the year we went undefeated as well?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it's so like, there's a big thing about that, but I think like, I think Arsenal fans have got a bit of a reputation for sort of, and it bothers Patrice because he feels that Arsene Wenger got mistreated towards the end of his career at Arsenal, you know, and he felt like Arsenal fans, because I was going to...
How about how he treated him when he played at Manchester United?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he didn't give a shit then.
Take an L. Take an L once, will you?
And so he sort of like feels like Arsenal fans need to... He does like Arsenal. I mean, he's great. He's best, like really good mates with Thierry Henry.
Right.
And so I think he watches Arsenal with an admiration, but he feels like they need to they're not where he thinks they should be. But I mean, he doesn't give a crap.
Guess whose
does he?
opinion I don't care about?
Yeah.
Patrice Evra.
Yeah.
Cook
No, I
your
get
chicken and maybe we'll talk about it. How about
I
that?
brought that up with him on the podcast. He's very upset about it. Because obviously it's a strange thing to do.
It's the oddest thing. I don't know if people haven't seen it. Obviously, he did some video that he put on social media. Of
You like
him
licked and made out with a raw chicken.
raw chicken.
Yeah, I would say it gets. I would say I don't think Patrice will mind me saying this. It gets increasingly disturbing as the video goes
With
on
that-
because initially he's sort of flirting with it,
Right.
And then you think, okay, that's strange, and I'd quite like the video to end now.
Yeah.
But then he just keeps escalating it to a point where he's like basically just sort of.
Well, you can't start
It's
without foreplay, right?
No,
He's
exactly.
just
You gotta
banging the
ease
chicken.
into it, my guy.
Yeah.
I mean, you just can't go in there.
I think-
and start stuffing the chicken. I think if you've never watched it, it's the soccer version of Two Girls, One Cup.
Yeah, that's a perfect description. And I actually think that was a top line when he went in to do the video. I think it felt like that's what we need.
They pitched
we
it
need
to
a
him.
football.
Yeah.
Patrice got this idea. We did this football version of Two Girls, One Cup, and he's like, yeah, I'm into it. Get me a chicken. Warm
He's
me
like, all
up. I'm
right,
good
I'll
to
do
go."
it. I'll eat it.
Yeah.
And they're like, no. It's not like that.
They should do like Patrice Evra chicken reaction videos of just people watching him watch it.
Oh, that'd be great. Put some drill beat underneath it.
But it sort of made him an Instagram star, didn't it? Because like he was doing videos regularly, but
Yeah.
that's the one that pushed him over the top. I mean, it really did boost his sort of it's made him a brand. do you
Yeah,
know
it's
what I
like
mean?
DJ
Post-football.
Khaled getting lost on a jet ski.
Exactly.
This is your
Yeah.
thing. You
If
just said the
DJ
same
Khaled
thing.
had a chicken with him, that's game over.
If Patrice Evra was eating a raw chicken while lost on a jet ski, the internet would they'd shut it down for a
crazy.
day. Yeah, they'd be like, we don't need it today.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah.
We're out of internet.
The servers can't handle this.
Yeah, it's like
There's
North
not enough
Korea.
data
We're
in the
shutting it
world.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kim Jong-un is shutting it all down for the day. We're using Putin rules out here.
We'll be back with more Romesh right after this, guys.
Jay-Z.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Having a lot of fun during the breaks.
Yes.
Here. Yes. So you are obviously you are a stand-up comedian, and you are on tour, and you're going to be you're in New York, and you're going to be doing shows at the Soho Playhouse, and then so please get tickets to that.
Yeah,
people.
during the break, we established that it hasn't sold out. So that's
has
why
not.
we're talking
But
about
you know
it now.
what? One show is sold out, so that's
Right, great. Well, that's
something
good.
to be proud of.
Thank you so much.
So smart of you
Thank
to
you so
tell
much
them
for
to-
clarifying there's only one of the four.
Yeah.
That's good because we could have just left it vague. But no, thank you. Now let's nail this. Nail those
Whoever
stats,
your
thank you.
tour manager is great because they removed most of the seats for that one show, so you could sell it out. I thought it was really smart. They're like, you just get rid of a couple of
There'll
those.
be you'll see a lot of curtains across the, sort of
Yeah.
the back of the venue.
Yeah, there's a lot of fringe.
Do you enjoy doing stand-up in the States, and is there any massive difference? I mean, we've done stand-up. I've done stand-up in Ireland. Alexis has done stand-up in London as well.
Yeah.
Is it a massive, I don't know, difference or challenge?
I don't think there's a huge difference. I think because I spent I did a lot of gigging in LA, and what I found was a big difference is that the crowds are sort of offended or pushed to the edge by different things in the States than they compared to in the UK, and so. It's sort of trying to figure out how to walk that line. You know, you guys know that you're sort of at the very edges of what's acceptable is where the most fun's to be had, right?
Yes.
But at the same time, if you misjudge that slightly, it can go horribly wrong. So it's sort of that. I had to do a few. It took me a couple of gigs to get my eye in as to how to walk that line. Whereas in Britain, you know, it's instinctive. You know almost exactly how far to push it. Whereas in the States, I had to sort of recalibrate. Do you know what I mean?
we always talk about trying to like integrate soccer and football into comedy. It's hard because a lot of American fans do not know the sport very well.
Yeah.
So I'm curious about your connection to MLS. We talk about MLS a lot on this show. What's the perception, at least from comedians out in the UK?
So the truth is, I think it's changed a little bit. I mean, MLS, if I'm being absolutely honest with you, is sort of considered a bit of a joke, you know, like,
Sure.
and so players that are sort of,
We're aware.
so players that are sort of decided to finish up.
A lot of MLS games do not sell out either, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Are you saying that I'm the MLS of stand-up comedy?
Yeah.
Because I sort of can't figure out what your angle is. Yeah. Sort of.
You're like a designated comedian here in the States.
Wow. I've come to my own roast.
You were just tag teaming.
But the truth is, I think that we are aware that soccer or football or whatever has become more popular over here, and also the MLS has gained prominence as a result of that, and the standard has increased. You know, so I think that is something that I do think the perception has changed, particularly over the last few years. I think that even a short time ago, it was very different to what it is now. I think people, and you've got lots of people going to watch the games now, right? I mean, it was
there was 59,000 in Nashville.
Yeah, I mean I mean that's amazing. So it's like I do think it takes time, because what people in the UK and other countries of the world can't get their heads around is that football is like the most popular sport in the world, and it felt like America was sort of being resistant to that, and so it felt like America was a bubble to that. So then when football started over here, or soccer started over here, it felt like going, okay, they're having a go at that, but they don't really give a shit about it. Do you know what I mean? But now I think people realise that it's actually being played at a really good level.
I don't think that perception is that wrong, because we've spoken to a lot of players that are now considered legends.
Yeah.
That early on in MLS were superstars, and most of them are like, I never really watched soccer.
Yeah.
I only played it because I enjoyed it, and then I was like really good at it, so I kept doing it. So like they don't have a club they follow. They're not like as baked into the culture, but I think that's changed now with the internet. And I think a lot of sort of being able to watch a lot of UK comedy now, especially here. IT Crowd was very popular here. There's a lot of shows. The Office. I mean, we did a better job at it, but the cute one you guys did was also
the
popular.
Original, the original one that they used. It was a springboard.
Kind of like Ask Jeeves, and then we came out with Google.
I'll be honest with you, I can't defend Ask Jeeves. Well done. You've absolutely smashed me there. Well done.
We don't have a lot of time, but I do want to ask you a little bit about hip hop, because I know you're more a fan of, like, I guess, like the boom bap era, and like sort of like that New York style hip hop. That's kind of passe now, right?
Yeah.
But English hip hop has started to become a lot more popular here. Grime's certainly not. It's too fast.
Right.
We don't understand.
So grime is, because the impression that we get is that grime's getting big over, is it not?
Not grime.
Okay.
Like English hip hop, especially like drill's starting to become really popular, especially in New York. Drill is, R.I.P. Pop Smoke.
Really?
Yeah. Drill's becoming really popular. So like, Chicago started it, but the UK sort of carried that mantle a little bit. What do you think about modern day hip hop in America? What do you think about modern day hip hop in England?
I think, I grew up at a time when, obviously you're always going to think that the era that you started listening to the music is the golden era, and that's what you're most nostalgic for. I think the truth is, I think American hip hop is what people make the mistake of doing is they think that hip hop is the popular hip hop is not the stuff that they're used to that they like and that they're used to listening to. The truth is, there's great hip hop being made now, right? Yeah. And when I say that, I mean that follows the old pillars of, like, skills, lyrical skills, and the production. There is still hip hop like that being made. Yes, a lot of the more popular stuff is not for me. Do you know what I mean? A lot of that, I'm not into that at all. But I do think hip-hop's going through a golden era in terms of there is loads of really good stuff. You can't even stay across how much great American hip-hop's been coming out. Do you know what I mean? I love it. And I think that, particularly from doing the podcast, I've sort of become... There's so many new artists that I think are doing really, really great stuff. And to me, I'm a bit of like a purist. So I like to think of these new artists respecting the lineage of the art form and all that kind of stuff. And so, I'm always going to like artists that respect that and perform in that regard. But I think that there's different types of hip hop for everyone. In the UK, the truth is, like, I used to try and listen to UK hip hop back in the day, and it just it was like we sort of knew there were some guys that were good, but at the end of the day we're sort of aping the American sound, right? And you sort of think, well, why would I want to bother why do I need to go to that if I've got American hip hop that is doing exactly what I want, right? And French hip hop got really, really big, but the advantage that French hip hop is it's a different language, and so there's a reason for French people to go to it. There's no reason for English people to go to English hip hop over American hip hop, and it's only now, as it's progressed, that UK hip hop has got its own identity. And so that's why when something starts to become authentic in its own right, rather than trying to, and obviously I'm going to get pelters for this, for saying that UK hip hop was derivative, but I do think a lot of it was derivative, whereas now it's got its own identity. So I think both UK hip hop and American hip hop are in really good health. But I've got friends that say to me, I don't even know why you bother doing a podcast, mate. The art form's dead. hip hop's dead. I don't know why he bothered. Do you know what I mean? I just like,
I love it. I think it's healthier than ever.
Yeah.
But not all of it was derivative, because the first time I heard the streets, I was like, that ain't nothing we doing. Shut that off. Did you hit fast forward, or that's how it sounds? What the hell's going on over there?
I sort of realize now, like with the people, like whenever we say soccer on Twitter or whatever, British people are like, "It's called football, mate."
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, now this is the thing we can go back and like, you're trash hip hop. You're welcome for the American hip hop that we provided for you.
Rhyme it, and maybe we'll listen to it if you can.
Yeah.
That's our only defense.
Yeah, I just want to say I've not come over here as a British ambassador or anything. It feels like I'm being attacked.
Everyone heard.
I don't even really know the
You
streets.
hate England. We heard you, dog. We heard you, dog. America's the best.
Ramesh, thank you so much for joining us, man. Absolute honor. And yes, make sure go check him out on tour.
Check out his show, League of Their Own. Check out his podcast, Hip Hop Saved My Life.
Yes, so Ramesh, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, man. It's been a real pleasure.
All right, we'll be back with more after this, everybody.
That's right, baby. We back.
Okay, thank you again, Ramesh, for joining us, man. That was so fun.
Incredible. Incredible. Just getting to hear stories about Patrice Evra. That's so dope.
Okay.
Right? He ruined his kid's life by making him an Arsenal fan. It's going to come out just fine, kid. Don't you worry about it. But obviously, the cavalcade of stars don't stop. You know what I mean? And now I got to Google cavalcade. All right?
Pretty sure you're saying that wrong,
I don't
too.
think I'm saying it correctly. But we got an incredible interview. We didn't just interview David Beckham and Jorge Mas. We interviewed a bunch of other people, Greg Berhalter, obviously, and also Marcelo Balboa.
Yes, U.S. men's national team legend, Colorado Rapids legend.
That's right, announcer.
Yes,
en
yes.
español.
Okay. And we had a great chat with him. He was really, really cool. And hopefully we'll get him in studio in the future. But you got to...
I won't hit him next time.
Just check this out.
Marcelo, what's up, man?
Finally,
Right, look-
pleasure to have you on the show.
It's
Finally,
nice to finally be here after you guys, No, I'm kidding. How are you?
we are with Marcelo Balboa. I mean, Balboa. I mean, do we have to say anything?
Balbo, whatever you want.
I'm not known for saying words correctly, but I mean, legend in the game. Latino, that's all we need to know.
Yes.
Men's national team legend. You mentioned on stage earlier that when you were young, your family would listen to the Argentine games on the radio. What was this, like the Mesozoic era?
I didn't have time to tell them we had a 20 by 20 satellite dish that took 20 minutes to turn into place so we could watch it from Argentina.
I was gonna say, what year was this, dude? The radio.
Well, it was a long time ago. It was 80 something. We had the big satellite dish, literally 20 by 20 in the backyard.
That would spin, right?
It would spin. My dad had to get every game in the world, so it was at the time it would take us an hour to get to where we needed to get to.
Wow.
But we got to see some games.
Yeah, you're like, the match starts at 2. Can we get this going at noon?
Exactly. We had the timer was set at noon, and okay, the game's at 4. Okay, we'll start now. So, but listen, it's in his blood. My dad played for the Argentine national team one game. He played professional in Argentina, so it's in the blood, man, and it showed every time we went out on the field. He was my coach until I was 18.
Wow. Yeah, and you are. Personally, I'm a huge fan of yours. You've definitely been.
You weren't even born when I was playing, man. Get out of here.
But you
I'm
are
not buying that one.
You are a person who's, especially during Colorado Rapids matches, who's the voice of the team on a lot of Spanish broadcasts as well. And hearing you talk about being involved in the beginning of MLS and sort of seeing where it is now, I'm interested to hear about your peers. You were talking about Alexi Lalas and those peers.
No, okay.
We were thinking the same.
Finally, it's nice to talk to like-minded individuals. The fact that there's I don't know, would you call it a sacrifice to build this league, or was it just a pleasure and honor to do that?
Ooh, first, let me say I wouldn't probably be where I was. Lexi was a good partner, man. When you talk about people you need to play next to that understand each other right and wrong, he was my right and I was the wrong sometimes. So we had an understanding. If the forward went by me, he would clobber him, and if the forward went by him, I would clobber him. So
love American soccer.
But it was a little bit of both. It was a little bit of both because I left Liga MX to come here to the United States, knowing that they made it clear that they would be funding for 3 years. and after that we'd wait and see how those 3 years went. So was it a sacrifice? Yeah, it was, because we left. A lot of us left. Teams that we were playing consistently. We were in a good league, but we also had a dream, man. We had a dream that we wanted our own league, and we wanted to play in the United States, and we wanted to see it grow here. We wanted to see a league where my kids may have a chance to play, or my grandkids would have an opportunity to play. So it was a little bit of everything, because we were entertainers, because we had to entertain on the field. If we didn't entertain, people wouldn't come, because it's a new sport. We had to be PR guys. We had to PR stuff.
You guys did some wild commercials.
Oh yeah.
A lot of wild photo shoots.
Yeah, we're not even going to touch on that one, man. We had to do what we had to do to get to 25 years, and we're standing here.
Yeah,
so,
dude.
You know what I mean?
Well, now you see Instagram, and everyone's being thoughts on Instagram where you're like, we were the original ones.
I'm gonna say it very clearly. Thank God there was no Instagram tweeting when we were playing. Hallelujah. Let me tell you that. It was, you know what? Listen, it's social media is it. The way you get out there is through social media. Our game is being promoted through social media. So, it's a blessing that it finally came. I'm just glad VAR and social media didn't come when I was playing, because I wouldn't have played many games.
Your walls would be lined with red cards if there was VAR.
There's a few tackles that might have gotten me 2 or 3 games. So I'm okay. I'm quite happy where I'm at.
And the fact of you played on the men's national team, and you were a big part of the 94 World Cup, 98 World Cup.
You don't want to give me credit for 90 now? Oh, hey, who's next?
I was born in 99. I'm kidding.
I'm 20 years old, so I don't know what you guys are even talking about. What's a radio? Oh, jeez. Hit him in the head.
It wouldn't be my first concussion. You're fine.
What was the thoughts between the men's national team and that connection to Major League Soccer and building that league, and what do you see as that connection now?
Well, the connection was real simple. Was in order nowadays, in order for our national team to keep getting better, the academies have a huge job. The under-20s, the under-17 national teams have a huge job, but most of these kids are coming from the academy. So they've got a huge job, because there's a connection that correlates from that to homegrowns to MLS players to national team in that experience. So that whole connection we didn't have back in 90. Think about that. We didn't have academies. We had ODP. So the things that are happening now is why we're starting to see these young kids emerging from the Bucios who are coming out of academies, who are representing us. I mean, Gio Reyna, who's playing Dortmund, who those kids start in the academy, so that you can see the process of how it just kind of goes, and it leads into now he's playing for Dortmund and hopefully representing the United States like his dad did. Hint.
No, I believe you mean he better.
That's why I said hint.
Marcelo, thank you so much
so nice to
for
meet you
joining
guys
us. Absolute honor. Thank you.
Absolute honor.
Appreciate it. Take care.
Cheers.
There he is. I want a ponytail now.
All right, welcome back. How great is Marcelo Balboa?
He is awesome. It's so funny to see, like, there's just maybe it's because they've been retired for so long, but that the energy of some of the people from that era, the players from that era, they're like, yeah, baby, we did this. These kids got it great. Yeah. They're like such different personalities. Sometimes we interview some people that are currently playing or that just finished playing, and they're still like doing the media train stuff. Marcelo Balboa and like Alexi Lala is like, forget all that media train, baby. Let's talk that real.
Some of those former players are like, respect me for all I did. You wouldn't even be watching soccer right now.
You shouldn't be allowed to talk to me.
So not only did we get to talk to Marcelo Balboa, we also saw a couple other folks out there. We saw Gianluca Busio,
right?
Obviously a midfielder for Sporting Kansas City.
Kid.
He's
crushing it.
Yes.
Was it Guardians Top 50 to look out for or something like that? Comics to watch? I forget what the award.
Gianluca was going to be at Just for Laughs this year.
He's doing bits, new faces.
And we also talked to president of Nashville SC, Ian Ayre.
That's right.
So check this out right now.
Yo, we are here with Gianluca Busio. What's up, man?
What's up? How are you?
Not bad now. You are sort of up there. How old are you now? 18 years old? 17 years old. All right. Okay. My man can't even vote right now. And he's just hanging out with David Beckham. All right. People were asking a lot of questions about what the league used to be. And you're like, yeah, I don't know nothing about all that. We got it pretty good. We got sandwiches and stuff.
I was playing FIFA a couple months ago.
How's it feel to be sort of one of these players that everyone's talking about? Guardian is bringing you up as one of the top 50. Everyone's all over. Greg Ballhalter, 2 seats away. And you're like, yo, homie, call me up. How'd it feel?
Especially, it's a dream. As a kid, you don't think that you're going to be, on such a big stage at such a young age. So it's kind of all, hasn't hit me yet, but it's pretty cool. And it's. I want to keep on going. This is just the start for me. Hopefully, I can keep on taking big steps.
It's been pretty dope seeing your rise. We had some of your teammates and former teammates on our show. We had Matt Beasler on the show, and we had Seth Sinovic on. And he had mentioned just growing up, seeing you grow up and seeing you become a professional. Well, one of the things he mentioned was driving you to training. So what is it sort of like, working with veterans and being a teenager, but being a professional at such a young age?
It takes a while to get used to. I think my first couple of years, or my first year, it was weird. I'm used to hanging out with guys my age and, at the time high school, and now I'm hanging out with guys who have kids and, got to go home and do all that stuff. So, but now I think them as a family, really. I've been around them so much, and, they treat me well, and, I have respect for them, but they're also my teammates. So, I can mess around with them just as much as they mess around with me.
Now, you mentioned up there that music seems to be a big issue in the locker room. What kind of trash music are they listening to? Are they're not putting on anything dope?
No, actually, it's I have the aux now, so they're actually.
You Bluetooth connected? You're like, I got this.
Nah, because I make sure they don't get it. It's either me or another young guy, me or Jalen. One of us gets the aux and make sure that they're listening to new music. They come to us like bees. They'll come up to us and be like, "Yeah, what's the song? I'm glad." Yeah. So
who's Roddy Ricch?
He's had a question.
No, come on now. I'm making fun of Beasley here. Put 2 C's in his name.
Yeah.
No, it has been cool, like especially all the things happening for Sporting Kansas City. Obviously, Alan Pulido joining the team. I was going to ask about there is some South American talent, Central American talent. What music contributions are they bringing to the locker room?
Reggaeton?
Yeah, you gotta have it. A little Bad Bunny, J Balvin.
All right, good.
They get angry when we're playing too much. Rap. They'll come up to you and get mad at you. But you gotta have a little bit of everything. So
who got the weird music? Like who be putting on like concertos and stuff like that?
I don't think anybody. We don't let that on our
rules are rules.
It's 2 people, me or Jalen, one of us, and we have a playlist for everything. So make sure you can know that.
And with those big moves that are happening for Sporting Kansas City, what do you look forward to in this season, and for yourself, for the team? Is it getting more minutes, just getting more starts? What are your plans this year?
Obviously, I want to get more minutes. I think every year I want to do more and more, get on the field more and more. But this year I really want to make an impact more. So that's scoring goals or getting assists, one or the other. I want to make sure I do a lot of that to help the team. And hopefully this is a big year for me and a breakout season for me.
How do you think your FIFA score is going to move up this season?
I got at least get in the 70s this year. At least.
All right, well, best of luck.
Give my man a little something, FIFA. Come on, EA.
Gianluca, thank you so much.
We're here with Ian Air, owner. Right?
No.
Yeah, CEO.
I'm happy to be there.
Yeah.
You can speak to our owner, that's fine.
CEO of Nashville Soccer Club. Season's about to start. It's about to kick off. We're hearing a lot of positive news about the first game. What are some of your thoughts going into it? And what is the one thing you're looking forward to from the concession stands?
Well, it's Nashville, so you got to have hot chicken, right? That's the go-to concession stand staple. But I think, no, seriously, I think, what we want, we said from the start, we want our games to be like a festival of soccer. You go to a concert, you choose the band, all the songs, but you go to a festival, it's a kind of whole mix, and we're like the headliner, the soccer, the match. But we want all the other stuff that's going on, the music, the fun, all the entertainment we've brought to it. And as long as the show and the festival goes off and people leave talking about everything, including the soccer and our win, then we'll be good.
What was something that attracted you to Nashville, to the city, to the project itself, and what is something as a Liverpudlian that you can bring to Nashville that it might be missing, or something that you can introduce to it?
Well, I'm a very good singer, so you know, if you move into the music city, that's always good.
The pressure's
a bit
on.
of karaoke at the weekend there. I was awesome, but no, I mean, I think, look, having come from Liverpool is very different, right? It's 120 odd years old. It's it's a giant in the game. But I think you can learn that, the thing that I learned. I grew up in Liverpool. And obviously, I've been supporting the team about 50 years, and that's why my beard's grey. But I think that the thing that I learned the most about being a Liverpool fan and can bring to is that about building something that's really authentic, that people can really belong to. And it's really easy to say, oh, we have a family of supporters and a club. People throw that stuff around. I think you have to build that. You can't just start with it. And I think we have all the raw ingredients to do that in Nashville. And hopefully, having experienced it and grown up in that culture of soccer at Liverpool, then we can bring some of that to Nashville.
I love how much you bring up Liverpool because he's an Everton fan, and this just makes me happy knowing that he's struggling right now. But what's something that you think, just having been in Nashville a little bit, I'm hearing you're kayaking and stuff. I can't picture an English guy eating hot chicken or kayaking, I'm not going to lie to you. But what is something that you think the South has given to you that's sort of that you've become adapting to?
Well, I have a cowboy hat. So
Okay, that's a good way to start.
Just putting that out there, one for the ladies, But no, I mean, it's such a great city. But funnily enough, I was talking to a friend of mine back home recently and saying how you'd be really surprised at how many similarities there are with Liverpool and Nashville. It doesn't look the same, but really friendly. Everyone's so nice. It's obviously got a lot of music heritage. We had a little band in Liverpool called the Beatles. You may have heard of them. And it's that type of culture where it's fun. There's a lot of music going on. There's a lot of entertainment, and that has a good and a bad side. A good side in the sense that people love to be entertained, and tough because there's a lot going on. So you have to find your place. But it's given me that. It makes me feel like home. Honestly, I mean, I have a great time. Really enjoy it, and the hot chicken's good.
Yeah. Well, we always see British actors for some reason do amazing Southern accents. So there seems to be some sort of connection that I wasn't aware of at the time. But I guess it's a simple transition. Maybe the English accent and the Southern accent have a lot more in common than we actually are aware of.
Also, how does it feel to be the first person in history to compare Liverpool and Nashville?
Yeah. Who knows? You got to ring my friend Paul McCartney. Ask him, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, and good luck with the season, buddy.
Absolute pleasure. Best of luck this season. Cheers.
David, first back for you, Jorge. I'm Guano, so this is really important for me. When you're looking at the culture of Miami, really important question, are we going to have croquetas in the stadium?
100%. We have pan con croquetas and all the deals. So I think you'll see a very Miami flair to everything that we do in our stadium and our experience, and definitely croquetas are part of the equation, no doubt.
With supporters and colada together, that is dangerous. I can't wait. Now, David, I think in order to connect yourself with a city like Miami, maybe bring some of that Cubanness. I think you could adopt me. I'll be the Bronx Beckham. You know what I mean?
Okay,
You got Brooklyn already, right? I'll be the Bronx. As my middle name. You know
option.
what I mean? I think it'll work, right? More Guanos will show up. You'll have a lot of beautiful shoes and stuff.
I agree. Totally agree.
Also, David, you played in. It's an honor. You played in some incredible derbies throughout your career. What do you expect as far as maybe Miami against Orlando? Is that competitiveness and that energy? What do you expect from it?
We want to create that culture. We want a rivalry, and I think Orlando started that rivalry the moment that they did that funny skit about us and the whole Jurassic Park.
Right.
And we found that very funny as an organisation because we knew that what we were building would be special. So we want that rivalry. I've been lucky to have played in derbies in La Liga, in the Premier League, obviously in France as well, and also in LA. So those rivalries are so important. They're so important for the game. They're so important for the fans. To create something like that is such an important part for us as a club and as a community.
Jorge, how important was it for you to do something like this when Fidel wouldn't let us?
Super proud as a Miami native and as a Cuban American. First Cuban American owner of any type of sports franchise in the United States. So it's a proud moment for us. We've been very blessed as a family. But for us, it's all about giving back to Miami, giving back to our community, and showing what's possible in the United States of America, where if you dream, it can happen.
Dang.
That's right.
Look at that. Just memory lane.
If you could dream, it can happen. And this is exactly what I think he was talking about right here.
So, okay, yeah, perfect example. The Cooligans was Jorge Massa's dream.
Yeah. Look, kids, if you just give up on all the things your parents tell you, your dreams can come true.
So, yes, again, thank you again for them talking to us. We should talk about a couple things. Speaking of David Beckham, and let's talk about one of his former clubs who played against my team in England.
It seemed like it was his playing time again because it seems there was a couple Fergie rules.
Okay,
right?
little favoritism.
Okay,
right?
and it was against your club, which you hate to see it.
Yes.
Unless you're me, and then you love to see it.
Everton played against Manchester United. Obviously, the result was 1-1. It should have been 2-1 because of after a goal that was taken back because of VAR.
Which no one's even looking at the VAR screen, guys. How you know? And like the VAR's getting stuff wrong, but if you didn't watch it, it was Gylfi, right?
Gylfi was in the way. Dominic Calvert-Lewin takes the shot.
But Gylfi gets fouled.
Yes.
Not called. Should have been a penalty. Doesn't get called. Who takes the shot? Richarlison?
No, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I believe.
Dominic Calvert-Lewin takes a shot. It bounces off, deflects off of a defender.
Harry Maguire, right, doing what he does best, causing issues. And then Gylfi Sigurdsson is kind of in the way, but he's laying on the ground, right? And he's kind of half sitting up. He looks like he's doing an ab crunch, and he just pulls his legs in. Ball goes past him, doesn't touch him. Is that correct?
Scores a goal. Not allowed because they said that while he's on the ground, he is impeding the vision of the goalkeeper. Who probably didn't even know he was there.
Yeah, so they're basically suggesting that because the ball was trickling in, Gylfi Sigurdsson moves his feet out of the way. Also, David De Gea is leaning the other way. He's not saving the shot.
But he tries to make he reacts to it, so he sees
but
it. But he was going the opposite way
because he was reacting to the initial shot. So
right.
He's going to
because he gets deflected the other way, which happens.
So this is the first time, to my understanding, that an own goal has been reversed by VAR. An own goal, which seems insane.
Yeah.
Right? Because even though, yes, Gylfi Sigurdsson is in an offside position, he does not touch the ball.
No.
And
nor does he impede the keeper.
Correct.
In reality.
Yes, who was going the opposite direction.
Yeah.
So because Gylfi just happened to be there, the goal was taken back.
If it reflects off his legs, yeah, but he didn't touch it.
It's ridiculous.
Yo, England, you don't know how to use VAR or toothpaste. Two things you don't know how to use.
Okay, well, look, we're getting this list started. And trust me, it's going to get longer.
Oh, yeah.
Infuriating. Obviously, Everton fans were upset about losing out on 2 points. But frustrating. I don't know if it's a Manchester United thing or whatever, but it just seemed like
Everton's cursed.
A ridiculous use of VAR in this particular situation. Again, and added to the list of debacles coming out of England when it comes to VAR. All right, we'll be back with more, everybody. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. Well,
I'm sitting back because this has been a hell of a show.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm taking it all in.
Okay, yeah, there have been a lot of fabulous guests.
That's right, which is us.
Thank you so much to, obviously, Romesh Ranganathan.
That's right.
Gianluca Busio, Ian Air.
Marcelo Balboa.
Oh, but yeah.
Me and you.
That's how you got to say Balboa.
That's right. Hey, and shouts to Moravia.
That's right.
Jessica Quiros gave us this.
We got this kit while we were in Costa Rica. I want to give a shout out. We had a great time out there.
I didn't even mention anything that Papa John's on there. I was very respectful. I was like, okay, cool.
That must have been a mistake.
So, I mean, this has been amazing.
So with that said, my name is Christian Polanco.
I'm Alexis Guerrero.
And what are we?
The